Hello friends, welcome back to another Value Vintage Cards video. So I'm going to do another in the series of just 4 cool cards. And the theme of this little mini 4-card run here is really just Venezuelan cards. I'm really drawn to that type of item and those sets in particular because you have the kind of traditional look. For the most part, they mirror the exact same, familiar, warm and fuzzy 59 to 68 with some years missing in between sets that we're familiar with. Look just like a regular Topps card, with the exception of some qualities and some differences. Some years very easy to tell. Some years extremely tough to tell exactly if it's Venezuelan or just a brutally rough Topps card, or maybe it's been artificially aged or manipulated to look like it might be a Venezuelan. So I'm going to share 4 of them and explain a little bit more about why I like these 4 in particular. But for me, when you can take something that has a population in the thousands and take it down to having a population in the dozens or maybe the hundreds, but I don't think there's multi-hundreds really of any of the sets. I think, once you get into, over 100, that's probably about as mass-produced as you're going to find. So I think, depending on your definitions of rare and scarce, I think those do start to fall into that pretty elusive, tough to find, just different category than anything else. So it becomes a different world of judging it for condition, judging it for centering and creases and paper loss and all the things that we're familiar with seeing on Venezuelan issues. So let me share a few of them and dive a little bit deeper on those in particular. All right, friends, my goal was to pick kind of just a nice cross section, and it's some cards that I have some real appreciation for different reasons. So I'm going to start with the oldest and my way from left to right. So the oldest one would be the 1962 Al-K line. So having these ungraded, some of these years, an ungraded version of a Venezuelan card can be basically a risk to the collector. You really have to know what you're looking at with some of these years. Other years is pretty straightforward and easy. I love the fact that such a classic pose. K-line is, in my eyes, very underappreciated in the hobby. Youngest batting champion, 3,000 hits. He had 399 home runs, which I feel like is, again, some of these players ended their careers with like a knocking on the door of getting recognized in a different way. But also just an elite person. I think he was the 3rd ever to win the Roberto Clemente Award. So when I can find a way to pick up something like this, that would be maybe a $10 card if it's Topps. You take it into something like this. So I've looked at some of the PSA populations. I think PSA has graded 47 of these. So, even if SGC has seen just as many, and I didn't look up SGC, and maybe Beckett's seen a few, maybe, I don't know. And obviously there's some ungraded because I'm holding one. So, that's just kind of the reality of, but this is one that is a much lower risk for finding one that's not authentic. Because when you look at the back, you will notice it is in Spanish. So it makes the identification of that as a true Venezuelan card and not just a standard Topps much easier. So Mr. Al-K line right there. All right, the second one I'm going to take a look at is, I didn't even look up the pop report on this one. Less significant. 66 tends to be one of the more readily available. But the Jim Palmer rookie card is one that I think even in Topps form, we just don't have a whole lot of value on that. Maybe it's because there's enough of them out there that, supply and demand are well enough matched. Maybe because pitchers are undervalued. This one, it's always tough to have it show up on a camera, but definitely the rougher surface, you can tell it's missing gloss. It was definitely glued into something at some point. And again, bought from a reputable seller. 66 is a much tougher set. You can see in the bottom corner there it says printed in, usually they just say USA on a lot of these issues. 59, 66 is much tougher to differentiate. But again, when you can take something like a Jim Palmer rookie that is pretty easy to find in standard Topps issue and make it a little bit tougher, a little more, scarce, thus maybe a little more valuable. That's really what I enjoy collecting at this point. I like the things that aren't just everywhere. The next one is, I guess by grading standards or by, price guide standards, he's probably considered just like a really high-end common. Sam McDowell, I think, his place in history is interesting. He's definitely a huge strikeout pitcher. Sudden Sam McDowell. The other thing I thought was really cool is the character on Cheers, Sam Malone, is based on him. So McDowell did not have the easiest of lives. He had some drinking issues. He basically lost his baseball career due to, vices and personal issues. But Sam McDowell, story and everything else. When I saw that, I was like, that's crazy. And growing up, 80s kid, basically, Cheers was your Thursday night routine. So, Sam McDowell card. I thought that was just a neat image. And then the fact it is Sam McDowell. And then the fact it's, 67s are very clearly Venezuelan with the colored backs. So there is 0% confusion on those ever. You will always know that you're holding a Venezuelan. Unless it's too blurry to know you're holding a Venezuelan. My apologies there. But the Sam McDowell card, I thought just the image and who it was, again, you're taking it from being a $1 card to maybe it's a $10 or $20 card. And it's strictly because there are not many of them out there, not many of them exist. So the minute you create something that's rare and has scarcity to it, it increases value. Which is where I'll jump over to the 68 Ernie. So 1968 Venezuelans, for whatever reason. I think 66s are the most plentiful. 62s don't seem crazy hard to find. Some players seem tougher than others for sure. 67s have some sporadic mixes in there. Some cards seem much tougher to find than others. And 68s for the most part are pretty tough to find. So this Ernie in a 2, which is my only graded one, which is kind of interesting, right? And I will probably not send the other ones in for grading. I have 0 questions of authenticity. I don't really care about the grade. They're all PC cards. If I had a choice of grading Kaline and Palmer or picking up another, Sam McDowell quality card, I'll probably pick up Sam. So that's just my philosophy on grading and thoughts and where to put my dollars. But something like this in a 2, it's actually a pretty nice 2. With the exception, I guess the back's got the little bit of damage. So at the top there, there's a little bit of probably like scrapbook residue. Mostly it's clean. And that's always neat to see too. That'll come in okay. But it says it's a Venezuelan card. But the cool thing of Ernie, again, looks like your standard 1968 Topps. What's crazy, when you look at the pop reports for the 68 Venezuelans, and again, there's ungradeds, there's SGC, there's any other companies out there, but PSA for that Ernie Banks has graded 19. And I believe there's 10 higher. So this one actually, I think there was a 6 and some 5s, and for Venezuelans, that's really, really high grade. Like 5 and 6 is usually where it caps out for any of the cards. But a 2 is kind of middle of the pack. There's definitely, some A's and some 1s, and I think there's like 6 2s. But again, you're talking pop 19. I mean, that's like, T206 Wagner kind of stuff. So I always feel like when you're looking at things like that, again, double it for SGC, double it again for ungradeds. I mean, you're not even to 100 yet. So it is a tough card, for sure. So happy to have that. I think I remember right. I think I have the whole Venezuelan Ernie Banks run, which is, again, just something else you can kind of do as little mini projects, mini missions to make your collection neat, unique, and kind of cool. But I wanted to share those four. A little bit of insight into the different sets, a little bit of insight into just maybe an option if you're looking for a player you collect or a particular year you really enjoy. It's a way to take it to the next level. That K-Line image, K-Line himself, just love to collect. The Palmer rookie, I feel way undergraded. Sam Malone / Sam McDowell. Cool historical figure. Kind of a tragic story in some ways because he was such a talented pitcher. But, very, very cool image and just neat card. And then Ernie is always in my list of, top guys to collect. So getting a chance to pick up a pretty sharp Venezuelan with a little bit of back damage is always fun and exciting. And learning there's only 19 of them graded by PSA makes it that much more of a special pickup. So that is it. Those are my 4 cool cards for today. I will catch y'all on the next video. Take care.